A former CIA officer and special agent with the FBI and NewsNation national security contributor Tracy Walder is with us ahead of the vote. Tracy, good morning to you and thank you as always. Are we at a greater risk of attack if this bill doesn't pass?
Well, good morning, Marni, and thank you for having me. In my opinion, yes. I'm someone who used the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act many times during my time at the CIA and the FBI, and it absolutely stopped attacks. In fact, this is how we were able to capture or ultimately kill the second in command of ISIS. So the reality is terrorists now rely on digital to get their attacks planned and ultimately executed. And we have to have this. Otherwise, we're really just flying blind.
Bill Barr, who served as the Attorney General under former President Trump, also said we're blinding ourselves at a critical juncture and we're hurting our allies who rely on intelligence that we collect in this way. Talk about the program specifically and the concerns about privacy and what we're hearing from Republicans who are on the fence about allowing this to expire.
Right. I do think that some of this really comes from not understanding the program, and it's complicated. I completely understand that. Really, what this does is warrantless surveillance of foreigners abroad who are engaging in terrorist activities, cyber crimes, all those kinds of things. The issue that I think people are having is sometimes those foreign agents do speak with American citizens. I think that's where it gets confusing. I think they then expect that we are just on a warrantless basis now surveilling these American citizens, and that's actually not how it works. You then have to go to a FISA court to obtain a warrant on that U.S. citizen who is talking to that federal entity. And I think that's the part where people become confused.
And the other thing that's confusing, you hear if this were to expire, it puts our national security at risk. But this is just one component, right? This is just one element of our national security surveillance. I mean, what are other things, if this goes away, that would happen in its place?
Right. So we've got really three different kinds of intelligence, right? Human intelligence, which is assets on the ground, signals intelligence, which is really what we're talking about with FISA, and then IMINT, which is imagery intelligence. The reality is terror networks are very hard to disrupt with human intelligence. They are very familial, very clannish, and they're really hard to penetrate. And so as a result, in terms of fighting terrorism, we really rely on that signals intelligence. And that's why it's so important, particularly on the war on terror. So yes, we'll still have human intelligence, we'll still have imagery intelligence, but then our SIGINT collection capabilities will be greatly diminished.
We heard the FBI director talk a moment ago about the threat from ISIS-K. What do we know about this terror network, and what's your level of concern?
My level of concern, and I've said this before, and I don't mean to alarm people, I'm someone who sat at the Counterterrorism Center at CIA before, during, and after September 11th. And in my opinion, the geopolitical powder keg that is the world right now is far more concerning than what it was actually before September 11th. So I am very concerned. Also, it looks like Ray's kind of rhetoric around this has changed. He was talking before in October about lone wolf attacks. Now he's talking about coordinated attacks. And I think that he's right on the money with that. ISIS-K has really found a stronghold, quite frankly, in Afghanistan, and as a result can launch much more coordinated attacks because they have a place to plan it.
How often, I mean, we've got that case in Idaho recently of the lone wolf attacks. Is that happening? How are terror groups radicalizing young Americans and just Americans in general to join their terror networks?
I think it's happening all the time, unfortunately. And I think because of the pervasiveness of social media, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, we all use it, but ideas are really easy to spread on social media. And it is very, very hard to kill an idea. And that's where it becomes very difficult, is because you've got hundreds of thousands of people participating in social media, participating in chats, and there's no way to be able to track all of that all the time.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.